Hey all, it's Linda. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am so freaking excited. This is a video that I've been prepping for, that I've wanted to do for a very long time, and today we are going to be talking about the new Hela palette from ODEN'S with ANGELICA NYQVIST. I have to say that I've kind of known about like the workings of this palette for a while, and I've been so freaking excited to get this into my hands. So I want to thank ODEN'S and Angie so much for sending this to me. I did receive this in PR, but as always, my opinions, my thoughts, everything is going to be completely honest, no matter what. I am just, oh my God, I'm so freaking excited. So this palette will be available on February 14th, nice little Valentine's Day present at 1 a.m. Central European time, but that is in Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. on the 13th. So if you are in the US, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 13th, this will be available. I'm just so happy to be able to try this, and I want to show you all. What I'm going to show you is the palette. We're going to look at swatches. I'm going to do a look. I'm going to do a second look. I know, who even am I? Am I a YouTuber? But something else sort of new that I'm doing with anything that comes into my collection this year or anything I bring into this collection is I'm going to try to show you dupes. So I'm going to go through my whole collection and see if I have dupes for this palette, just in case you are also on a low buy like I am or you're on a no buy. I'm going to show you some alternative options just in case you'd like to know. And then of course, I'm going to give you my impressions of the palette. So let's jump right into this. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. Look at this amazing scarf. The scarf is reversible, and on one side you have like beautiful Hela, you have beautiful Angie in all of her nature goodness, this bright, bright color, the heart that, oh gosh, it's just so lovely. And on the other side, you have the black and white version. You have the skull side of it. You have kind of the death and the mushrooms and the underworld side. This is so cool. So I did find out that this is called a tulle and not a scarf. And this is just, I mean, it is a thin scarf, but it's mainly used as an accessory, like for example, to tie around a handbag. Apparently a lot of people tie these around Hermes handbags. I do not have an Hermes handbag, so I just draped it over my jacket here, and I think it's kind of cute, okay? And if you're one of the first groups to buy the palette, you can choose to add this for free. So I think that's really cool. It's just like a neat accessory, and it really feels like a quality item. Like it's very soft. So anyway, okay, it's time. It's time to play with the palette. Now, as far as the name and the beautiful creature on the front of this palette, when I looked it up, and I also got a little bit of insight from Angie, not gonna lie, Hela, or as it is pronounced sort of with Nordic mythology, Hel, is the goddess of the underworld, and she is to receive a portion of the dead. So she receives those that have passed from either aging or being sick. It's not that those killed in war go to Hela, and also her appearance is very interesting. So on one side, she is for all intents and purposes human, and on the other side, she is either looked at as skeletal, which this package portrays, or sometimes almost like a corpse, like a rotting corpse, and that is to signify both living and dead. It's essentially to say that without death, there can be no life. So I think that's really interesting. And also both the serpent and the wolf are seen as sort of her muses, if you will, sidekicks. What's the correct phrase here? But I think this packaging is absolutely amazing. This is Angie as Hela, which I think is really badass. And on the front, the packaging is really green and dark and earthy. And then when you take off the outer sleeve, that's where you have these bright, vibrant earth tones, these bright flowery colors, these earthy greens and mosses and grasses. I just think it's such cool packaging. But then we open it up and we see this color story. Now, I love this color story. Like if you were to say to me, what is earthiness? Like immediately my brain would go to, oh, okay, earth. We've got, you know, blue in the sky, and we've got green on the grass and green in the trees and blah. I feel like this palette screams earthy to me, like the mosses. The soot is even the name of a color. Just, it's such a unique color story, but it's so freaking cool. Now, I'll have to admit, if you've watched my channel at all, you know I am not really a pink and purple girl. So the pinks are so beautiful, but that's not what's drawing my eye in. What's drawing my eye in, if you know me, are these mossy, I keep saying moss, but I can't help it. These mossy kind of dirty, grungy greens up here are killing me. And these like darker, deep colors, but also there's some like duochromes and multi-chromes in here. It's just so freaking cool. Now I want to go ahead and show you some swatches. I did take these on a different day, which is why my palette looks used, because we have endless rain and snow in Baltimore right now, so I wanted to make sure I could show you these swatches both in studio lighting but also in outdoor sunlight, because that's where those shimmers really like come to life and they're delicious. And
I'm thinking you were made for me. Isn't it my birthday yet? Cause I gotta say, you're looking like a gift for me. Wrapped up nice and neat, baby. Get in my way now, don't be shy. We'll be here dancing day and night. Get in my groove now, don't be shy. Cause I got this list of my favorite things. You could be the part where it all begins. You could be the first and the second and the third and the rest of it. You could be one of the things I love. Sunday morning breakfast with my bedroom door locked. I like everything that has a cherry on top. Get on my list of the things I love, love, love. You could be the one I trust. All the second chances, they are nothing for us. I like it all with the cherry on top. Be one of the things I love. We don't have to move so fast, baby, I will show you how.
just from these swatches, I have to admit, I was already really impressed with the palette. Now, I have never used Odens Eye. This is my very first time, and I've watched so many reviews on other palettes that they've had, and people always seem so impressed. And I was like, okay, maybe that's one that I will try this year. So I'm so glad that I got to try this, because those mattes are so pigmented and smooth and opaque. It's just so cool to see, because mattes can have a tendency to like skip, whether it's on your eyes or on your arm, whatever you're doing, they can skip, they can become patchy, they can have like holes in them almost. These went on so smoothly, and when you built them up, they just became even more beautiful, even more opaque. As for the shimmers, if that is what the shimmers look like just from doing a finger swatch, I cannot wait to put those on a wet brush and see them come alive on my eyes, because I have to imagine they are going to be striking. So we do have 9 mattes and 7 shimmers, which I think is a great balance for a palette, because personally I like there to be more mattes than shimmers. I also think that you really have good light tones to brighten things up and good deep tones to deepen things up. Now, Angie's other collaboration with Kaleidos, when she did the Club Nebula palette, was also a good balance like that of darks and lights. So I think Angie really has an eye for that, which is really cool. So I can't wait to jump into this and start playing. All right, I want to start by priming my eyes, as I always do, with a little bit of Urban Decay Primer Potion. So I'm not going to set that, but I do want to go ahead and put some powder under my eyes, because when these swatched, because they're so pigmented, I think that there might be some fallout. So I would normally suggest doing your eye makeup first, but I didn't feel like coming on camera with a bare face today, so here we are. But this way, if there is any fallout, I can just go ahead and wipe it away nice and easily. What are we gonna do today? I feel like I want to start with the deepest color, so I'm starting with this one, which is called, I believe it's Ouroborus, and it's a very deep dark green, almost hinging on like a slight blue tinge. But I'm going to pack that onto my pencil brush, and I'm not really even going to tap it away. I'll go like this, but I just want to pack that on the outer lid to see how intense that pigment can get. Wow, wow, wow. All right, that is one freaking dip into the pan. One, and I still have pigment left on my brush. So I am going to take that, and I'm going to blend out these edges a little bit. That is one dip into the pan. What? That is a stunning color. Wow. All right, with the blending brush, I'm going into Underworld, which is like a matte, almost chartreuse yellow green. It's very, very pigmented. I am tapping the brush off a little bit, and I'm just going to brush that right on the edges of this dark green. All right, time for my first shimmer. I want to take Golden Bridge, which is this beautiful gold olive green color. It's really, really beautiful, and this is kind of the color that I'm always drawn to in palettes. I am going to wet this because I do think that that helps to bring out shimmers. This is going to go on the outer, probably 2/3 of my lid. Yes, 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 yes. The shine on these is so stunning. So next I'm going to take Flourescent, which is this bright lime green shade, and I'm just going to flip my brush around, and that's going to go on the inner corner. Oh yeah, I wasn't sure if you'd be able to see the difference, and I'm not sure how much you can see the difference on the eye, but it definitely adds a brightness to that inner corner. Look at that. Look at the brightness. Note to self, if I'm going to lay down powder before I look, take it all the way under the eyes. What the hell? So it did catch quite a bit of fallout here, but now I have some glitter fallout under the corner of my eye. All right, I want to take one more shade, and that's Rebirth, which is a very pale matte yellow. And I'm not going to take a lot of that. I just want a little bit of that right here on the inner corner. See? Oh, that's really cool. Whoa, 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 that's pigmented. I really like that addition. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a nice little like spotlight. Ooh, really cool. All right, I'm going to brush away this powder. Yep, you can't see any stains from the fallout at all. All right, I'm gonna hop off camera real quick, and I'm gonna finish up this eye look with some mascara, liner, and I will be right back. Okay, I tried something a little new for me today, and I went with a chartreuse liner on the waterline, and I topped that off with some Underworld just to really make it pop. So I think that actually kind of looks really cool. I'm gonna go back in with a teeny, teeny, tiny bit of Ouroborus, and I'm going to, that's the dark green, by the way, I'm just gonna put that right under my lash line just to kind of bring those colors together. And then I'm gonna take a little more Underworld and just kind of run that right underneath. And here is the very first finished look. I love how this looks. The metallics are so stunningly beautiful. Like, I love them so much. And I love, like, I didn't even know how much I would love that matte yellow. And I feel like it pulled a tiny bit green with the rest of the look. So it almost looks like a vibrant lime green matte in the inner corner. I freaking love it. Every shade performed beautifully. I was especially impressed, like I said with the swatches, with the dark green, because sometimes shades like that can go patchy real easily, and this one didn't. You saw that was like one dip into the pan. I can't even freaking believe that. Usually I feel like I would have to go in and in and in. No, it was one dip and it was stunning. Oh my god, I love this look. I love this look. So again, this is only my first look with the palette, but I'm really, really impressed. Let me know what you think of this look. Now, let's get into look number 2. Also, my nails are probably not going to be here for look number 2, so enjoy them. Enjoy them because they're taking a break. They're going on a little siesta, a little nap. All right, time for the second look. In looking over this, I feel like I want to do something a little smokier and maybe a halo eye. So I might only be using 2 shades in this palette for this look, or at least these are going to be the main shades. So we have Soot, which is a very deep, very dark, very opaque purple, matte purple. And then we have River, which is a gorgeous, I believe it's just a duochrome, so it's very, very metallic, as you can see. And it's hard to tell, but there's some significant pink blue shifts to it. So it's almost like the base is a bit pink, and then there's a heavy blue sparkle in there. Really gorgeous. I really want to play with that. I'm trying to figure out, though, what I can use. Maybe I can even try to use a little bit, just a little bit of Wolf in the crease as sort of a transition. But I'm going to start with the darkest color. I'm going to start with Soot. Again, I want to lay down some powder under my eyes to catch any fallout. I think this sponge has seen some brighter days. Might be time for you to go soon, friend. So I'm loading Soot up on my brush and just kind of shaking it, not tapping it off, because I really want to get this full pigment. Again, one dip into the pan, just one. Also going to put this on the inner corner. How is this one dip into the pan? I still haven't dipped back into the pan. Oh my god, this pigment! Now that that's on there, I'm just going to take a clean blending brush and just kind of blend out these edges, because I don't even think I need any additional shadow, I think I can just blur this out. And yeah, it's just making such a nice color there. Wow. So you know what? Because that's almost making a little bit of a pinky shift, I'm going to take some of Hela, which is this lighter, almost a bubblegum pink matte on that blending brush. And I'm just going to brush this right on the outer edges. Halo eyes always look insane until they're all finished. I promise, hang with me. Now with this River shade, like I said, it's a highly metallic multi-chrome. I want to try a few different things on the back of my hand to see what is going to make this pop the most. So first I'm going to lay down a tiny bit of NYX glitter glue and I'm going to pat that on top. I'm also going to try a dry brush and then let's try a wet brush. All right, so I'm going with NYX glitter glue. I feel like that's where you can see most of the base actually come out to play. It's so beautiful. So I'm gonna take hair off my chest. I'm gonna take a little bit of this and I just wanna pat that with my finger just onto the center of my lid. And then taking my finger, I'm gonna just pat that on top. Yeah, look how metallic that is, wow. What's interesting about this color is that the base of it is not completely opaque. Like you can kind of see through it a bit and it's really, really pretty. I feel like this would make a beautiful topper shade with a lot of colors. I have hair I'm just shedding like a dog. Anybody else, please tell me I'm not the only one. But I do feel like this would look amazing over some other colors, but I kind of love it where you're seeing the skin shine through because the second you think you're seeing the skin, you turn and it's different. It's changed, rearranged. Okay, so I am going to touch up just a little bit of this purple on the outer edge just because I want that to be super dark. But look, I've been filming for 7 minutes and this is pretty much done. I mean, now I want to go ahead and take the darkest color, which is Soot, just right under my eyes, both on the inner and outer corner. And I'm gonna pat just a touch of River right in the center just to catch that light. All right, I'm gonna hop off camera and I'm gonna finish up the eye look, slap on a lip, and I'll be right back. I have to say that my first impressions after using this palette for 2 different looks, and I've used it several other times, I'm really impressed with the quality of this. I have not come across a single shade that has given me trouble yet. You have to appreciate certain shades for what they are though. So for example, like River, you're not gonna get an opaque purple base under it. You do need to either be prepared to see skin under it or layer it on top of something, but that's not a fault of the shadow. That's actually, for me, that's a plus, a compliment for the shadow because you can use it in so many different ways. There has not been a shade that hasn't worked for me. But as I had mentioned previously, with anything that I bring new into my collection this year in 2022 that I talk about on my channel, I do want to try to see if I have dupes for it in my collection and see if there's maybe a palette that is just so similar that if you have that, you don't need this palette. So this is going to be interesting to talk about the dupes for this one. So I'm going to show you on screen the way that I was able to dupe this entire palette. For these dupes, I did not dip into one palette to find all of these. I did not dip into 2 palettes. I had to dip into 11 different palettes to find remotely close dupes for this. So I would say if you're somebody who has a massive collection, sure, you probably do have these colors, something similar at least in your collection. But if you don't feel like digging into 10 to 11 palettes, I do still recommend this one. I would also say, if you have a bit of a smaller eyeshadow palette collection, I personally don't have this color story or anything like it in my collection. I originally thought that it might compare to the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. Not even close, not even similar at all. There might be one shade, like I think, what did I use from Flower Punk? Yes, I did compare Peach Soju to Hela. They're drastically different. They're very different shades of pink. Yes, they're both matte pinks, but they're very different in tone. So I don't think that those are a dupe. There were some I was able to get pretty close, but again, 11 different palettes to create something even remotely similar to this one. So if you are looking to spend less, sure, definitely try to dupe it in your collection. But at the same time, I really do feel personally that this is a unique color story to my collection as a whole. And I really enjoy seeing it. I feel really inspired by this palette to create different kinds of looks. I definitely know that I'm going to gravitate towards these grungy, mossy greens, especially the specific color called moss. But tell me what you think down below. Is this something you're planning on picking up? How do you feel about the color story? Are you a big fan of Odens Eye? If so, leave me some recommendations in the comments below, because after trying this, I want to try so much more from this brand. The quality is absolutely brilliant and I'm really impressed. So that's it. I hope you liked this video. I hope that this was thorough enough for you. If you did like it, I would love if you give it a thumbs up or share this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you as a part of the fam. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are all GlitterFallout. And as always, and forevermore, you are super freaking rock stars, and I love you so much with my whole heart. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.